Now let's shift focus to Africa, to the war-torn nation of Sudan, where the ongoing civil war has led to a diplomatic spat between Sudan's army and the United Arab Emirates. The UAE released a statement today. They condemned the Sudanese army. What for? Attacking the residence of the Emirati ambassador, the UAE ambassador, by an airstrike. Now, to clarify, the ambassador was not home, and this was not some assassination attempt. In fact, Sudan had expelled a number of Emirati diplomats months ago. And even before they were expelled, they had shifted base out of the capital Khartoum to the city of Port Sudan. So the ambassador was not hurt in this attack. But Abu Dhabi is still furious. They say Sudan's army conducted a heinous attack. They said it was a violation of international law of the protected status of diplomatic buildings. The UAE has threatened to raise the issue at the League of Arab States, the African Union, and the United Nations. Meanwhile, the Sudanese army has denied responsibility. It gave a sharp rebuttal to the UAE's charges. Let me, in fact, quote from the part that is after the denial. The one that carries out these heinous and cowardly actions is the terrorist rebel Dalgo militia, supported in committing all this by a country known to the world, and it continues to carry out these acts under the eyes and ears of countries and international organizations. That was a shot at the UAE and their alleged support for one of the sides in the civil war in Sudan. You see, this civil war has been raging for about a year and a half. On one side, you have the Sudanese armed forces, led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the chief of Sudan's military junta and the country's de facto leader. On the other side is a paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, led by Mohammed Hamadan Dagalo, better known as Hemeti. That's why the Sudanese army mentioned the rebel Dalgo militia in their statement. They were talking about the RSF. Now, the Sudanese army believes that the RSF, the rebel group, is getting support from the UAE. They've accused Abu Dhabi of funding and arming the paramilitary group. And the UAE has called these allegations baseless and utterly false. But Sudan's army does not believe them. The junta keeps repeating its accusations against the UAE at every international forum, like last week's United Nations General Assembly.
The support from the UAE that you mentioned, we have lots of evidence that proves that there are planes that transport weapons from the UAE to Uganda and then to Chad. This situation was confirmed in the report of the United Nations and was made clear to us through flight tracking. That's why this situation is clear, and everyone knows that is one of the main reasons why the war has continued.
While Burhan was speaking at the UN, his forces launched an assault on Sudan's capital, Khartoum. The RSF has held Khartoum since last year. The group captured it in the early stages of the war, but now the Sudanese army is trying to retake the capital. Major clashes have been taking place over the last 4 days. Both ground assaults and airstrikes are on in various parts of Khartoum. Amid all of this fighting, is it possible that a Sudanese military jet fired a missile elsewhere? The army insists that it did not hit the Emirati ambassador's residence, even though it has both means and motive. We probably won't get a confession out from the junta, and there won't be a proper investigation till the war ends. So both sides will continue to point fingers at each other, and the war in Sudan will drag on.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.